Good evening and thank you for joining us. Portland police are investigating a shooting in Old Town that sent an underage person to the hospital. But the shooting also created panic for some celebrating Pride this weekend. Galen Etlin joins us now. Galen, this sounds really scary.
It definitely was, Laurel. A nightclub went into lockdown near that shooting, and you can imagine the fear for people in those uncertain moments. Many inside thinking of the Pulse massacre 6 years ago.
It was a busy Saturday night during Portland's Pride weekend. CC Slaughter's nightclub packed with people celebrating togetherness. But then
people started running through to the middle of the dance floor, and then everyone started getting down on the ground.
Eric Gregory was at CC's visiting from Seattle.
Everybody please stay down.
And took this video.
We're okay, we are okay.
As staff worked to keep the crowd calm and safe. Because just outside the door, bullets were flying.
I think it went through everyone's mind that this is like Pulse nightclub.
In June of 2016, during Pride celebrations in Orlando, a gunman targeted LGBTQ+ people, killing 49 and hurting more than 50 others. For many, that massacre and memory are carried with them during Pride. So at CC's, people anxiously watched the front door.
Scared to death and comforting each other.
Sort of that collective trauma that we in the LGBTQ community have in a situation like that, and seeing something play out like that.
Everyone was trying to comfort each other like there was immediate danger. We felt like a community. It felt like a community on the floor.
Slowly, no shoving. Everybody be calm.
Several agonizing minutes later, everyone safely evacuated. It appears the shooting did not target CC's. Police said someone shot into a car around Northwest Davis, hitting a juvenile passenger. That person went to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
They put down 29 tags were bullet casings.
The people in the car said they did not know who shot at them or why, and police did not make an arrest.
We got through it.
And for Eric Gregory, a visitor celebrating LGBTQ identity and resilience, the shooting meant something more.
What is your takeaway from that?
But I still got up and went to Pride because I wanted to be there for my community like it was there for me last night.
Togetherness in the face of fear.
Now again, we want to emphasize we do not know who did this or why, but it does appear the shots were fired away from the nightclub. If you've got any information, you're supposed to give police a call. Laurel?
So tragic that people have to live in fear like that, Galen, but we're so glad no one else was hurt. Thank you. More than a week after 31 suspected white nationalists were caught allegedly planning to riot at a Pride celebration in Idaho, new video shows the moments before police pulled over the U-Haul they were in. Until now, we've only seen video capturing the moment when police arrested the members of the hate group Patriot Front. Last week, members of the organization posted this edited video on a video sharing website. It captures the group's conversations while inside the truck.
Also keep in mind, being in the center of a park, an event like this, with weak-willed opposition middling at most, there's not going to be any opportunity for getting testy with physical responses. So mind your P's and Q's.
Then later, the video jumps to the moment when police opened the back of the U-Haul. Once the members are detained, you can hear someone telling the group what they should say to officers.
The only thing you can tell them, name, date of birth, and you're an activist, you can peaceably assemble. That's the only thing you can tell them.
To the entrance to...
Of course, police say the group was not there for peaceful reasons. Someone in the video claims police did not do a thorough search, which is obvious since one of those arrested still had a camera on them. At one point, as the members were being taken to jail, someone says to the group's leader, Thomas Rousseau, that there is no evidence against them. Back here closer to home, the Clark County Sheriff's Office says 2 people were arrested after a fight involving a pressure washer and a contract dispute. It happened near Northeast 84th Street and 137th Avenue about 5 o'clock yesterday. Callers told deputies about 6 people were fighting, and some of them had an axe and baseball bat. They say 2 people suffered minor injuries. The suspects are now facing multiple charges, including burglary, unlawful imprisonment, hit and run, and assault. A Portland man is back home after spending more than 2 months in Poland helping send medical supplies to Ukraine. Since the start of the war, his organization, AmeriCares, has sent over 130 tons of supplies to the war-torn country. As Joe Ranieri reports, those shipments aren't expected to stop anytime soon.
You did see a lot of military presence, Polish, NATO.
Adam Keene has been playing a pivotal role in making sure medical supplies is still getting into Ukraine.
The pace hasn't slowed. I mean, the pace of refugee movements has slowed, but the pace of shipments into the country really is continuing quite fast because the needs are so great.
He's the director of Complex Emergencies for AmeriCares, a nonprofit that provides emergency response teams to help people recover from disasters from all over the world. Keene was responsible for making sure 130 tons of medical supplies was delivered to Ukraine.
We established contacts inside Ukraine with health facilities, hospitals, government contacts through the Ministry of Health.
Him and his team made sure hospitals and medical facilities had everything from bandages, needles, OB kits for pregnant women, and over-the-counter medicine for patients.
Pain medication, chronic disease medicines for heart disease and so on, as I mentioned. Also just sort of standard over-the-counter drugs like aspirin.
Keene, who was staying just 2 hours from the Ukrainian border, said getting supplies into the country wasn't the hardest part.
You know, now we and others are confronting issues around, the global supply chain for medicines and medical supplies.
That meant they had to get creative at times.
And we were also procuring medicines in Poland, in Romania, and elsewhere in Europe, because that can sometimes be quicker and more cost-effective when you can get those medicines and supplies locally.
Even though he's back for now,
we know that we'll be responding to this crisis for at least a year, so till June next year.
He knows him and his team will be going back again really soon. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
What a great effort. Well, after a chilly and rainy June so far, to say the least, temperatures are expected to jump way up later in the week, and that means a lot of people will head to the water to cool off. Our Mike Benner is along the Willamette River for us with a warning from first responders. Mike, it's so great to see things warming up, but there are things to keep in mind, right?
Yeah, it's nice, Laurel, isn't it? We are at Poets Beach in the South Waterfront. And one of the things that first responders want us to be on the lookout for later this week is quite clear right here. We're talking about high river levels. You'll notice the beach here behind me is basically non-existent because the water is so high. And the same can be said for the beaches along the Columbia River as well. Not a lot of sandy beach between Marine Drive and the Columbia River. Water simply higher than normal there as well. And that can pose a danger. So too can the speed of the current. We're told rivers are running faster right now. Another thing to keep in mind, water temperatures. They're nowhere near the air temperature, which may be around 90 degrees later in the week. Here's Lieutenant Rich Tyler with Portland Fire and Rescue.
Just because it feels hot because we're in that low 90s doesn't mean the water's now warmer. It's still running in the mid 50s, maybe high 50s. That differentiation of temperature can have an impact on your body, especially if you have any underlying medical conditions.
Lieutenant Tyler says life jackets should really be a no-brainer. If you're in or near the river, wear one regardless of your swimming ability. This, of course, is advice for kids and adults alike. But Lieutenant Tyler says don't forget about our furry friends. Rivers that run fast and high can be challenging for dogs as well, so be sure to keep an eye on them too. Laurel?
Such important things to keep in mind. Thank you, Mike. 6 people got quite a shock this morning as a gangway failed, dumping them into the cold waters of the Willamette. This was on private property near Northwest Marina Way. It's unclear what exactly happened after the gangway failed, but we're told 2 people needed to be pulled from the water. It appears no one was injured in the incident, and we still don't know what caused the collapse. As the city of Portland continues to try to find new ways to combat the homeless crisis, a local shelter is expanding with a new location to house women and children. Union Gospel Mission will break ground on its new location Wednesday. The long-term recovery housing will provide resources for women and their children who are experiencing homelessness, addiction, and abuse. The 52-room shelter will include spaces for community building, counseling, parenting classes, children's education, and a chapel. It's expected to be open sometime next year.